understanding, your views, your questions, your thoughts, then it wouldn't be very much of a show. So I enjoy y'all's call to share your knowledge, share your information, because it doesn't take a whole lot to know more than I know. Uh, I'm happy to share what I know, but that's sure very limited. So we need y'all's calls. Another thing that we need now is we need sponsors to keep this show on the air. Uh, and let me say that I want to give a real shout out or thank you or something to a man that came by the studio recently. I don't know his name, but he came by KTEM and gave a donation to and money to help keep this show on the air. Now, it's not so much the money as it is the thought. The man is concerned enough about keeping the show on the air that he coughed up some money. And I won't say how much, but I really do appreciate listeners who think so much of the show that they want to share not just their knowledge, but maybe a few dollars to go with it. I really do appreciate that. Uh, so anyway, thank you to the anonymous donor. And there's been others that have done much the same thing. And our sponsors, without our sponsors, we wouldn't have this show. So I might say to you that if you go by Academy Paint and Body, get your fender fixed, say something about where you heard about him. If you go by Extreme Hose and to get your hydraulic hose fixed, well, say something about it. Uh, I really do appreciate y'all doing that because we need other sponsors. We're always needing sponsors because KTM always needs money. I guess some people might think that this airtime is free, like a public service donation. Well, it's not.
Well, they're very generous with Eric, but that's about it.
Yeah, they charge money for this show, and it's a sizable amount of money, and I cannot and will not cough up that money by myself. I really enjoy doing the show and want to keep doing the show, but there ain't no way I'm going to cough up all the money for the show. So, and right now we got Rick on the phone. Rick, what are you going to tell us?
Thanks for taking my call. I just wanted to remind your listeners why the Democrats are killing it, what they're really mad about. All that is a moral question. Abortion, homosexuality, and these people don't have no morals. And I want to remind the listeners that in Romans chapter 1, God calls these people reprobate.
Well,
God sent over to a reprobate mind.
now, Rick, that blame your time. You done got me started. Uh, I, I, well, they will sacrifice anything to get another Democrat vote. And Rick, I was born and raised a Democrat. My daddy was a Democrat. But I would not associate with those people any more than I would the Communist Party or the Satanist
I thought
Party
they were
or
the
whatever.
Communist Party.
What now?
I thought they were the Communist Party.
Yeah, yeah, it's synonymous with the Communist Party. But
A cat, and them same people will kill a baby.
That's great.
well, and they'll kill America. That's what
Yeah.
one of the things that I wanted to talk about today was, we face two enemies in this world, uh, and we need to decide whose side we're on. But
Well,
as America, as this Judeo-Christian country that we live in, what enemies do we face? We face
well,
we face an enemy from outside our borders, but the
yeah.
worst enemy we face today is the enemy inside our border.
Well, I just want to remind your listeners that the baby killer was Herod, and he had all them babies killed down there, and Satan's a baby killer.
Well, like I say, my problem is abortion, but it's so many things, including abortion. The uh, homosexual movement, men, women, kids, everything else is growing so fast. And let me relate a story to you. I came in several years ago about 3 o'clock in the morning, and I wasn't sleepy, so I turned on the TV, and there was a talk show on the television, and the talk show host was interviewing the head CEO, whatever you call him, of the American Man Boy Love Association. And I will never forget. The host asked the guy the question. He said, "Well, what is the objective of your association? What do you want to do?" And the guy said, "We want to repeal any law that prohibits men and boys from having love."
Oh my gosh.
And the host said, "Oh, you mean down to age 18?" The guy said, "No, to the cradle."
Yeah.
I am
Them people
I am
reprobate.
I am quoting what that man said.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying, how do you call that anything except Satan? And I won't get off into religion too deep, but I'm just saying, there ain't but two sides in this fight, Rick. There's God
Yeah.
and there's Satan. Now, whose side are we on?
Well, we got to get the pulpits hot again. The pulpits have gone cold.
Well, the pulpits are so deathly afraid of violating 501c3, which is
Not the churches. Not the churches that didn't take it. There's churches out there that never took the tax exempt.
Yeah, but that's a very small minority. Most
Yeah,
of them.
those are the ones that are preaching, though.
And I might add too that why is it that Reverend Jeremiah Wright, Al Sharpton, all of those kind of people seem to be exempt from that threat? Well, why is that? If Dr. Robert Jeffers at the First Baptist Church in Dallas said 1/10 of what Jeremiah Wright has said in the pulpit,
Yeah.
they would jerk his 501c3, probably put him in jail.
Yeah.
So do we have two sets of laws? One for Pastor Jeffers and one for Jeremiah Wright and those kind of people? Yeah, why is that?
Yeah, our preacher told us the other day. He got this phone call. They're taking this survey. Would you like for your congregation to go up, down, stay the same, up? Would you like for your congregation to increase in minority, up, down, stay the same, up? Would you like for your congregation to increase in LGBT? And the preacher said, "Wait a minute, we don't even recognize that rot. Them people need to be saved. Them people are lost. Them people
Okay.
reprobates."
Well, what I've got against the LGBT group, and I might say that I know of a church group that just gave them $25,000.
Golly.
I cannot believe that, because to me they are no different to the group that wants to have love with little boys down to the cradle. And that, I hate to mention that on the radio, but that makes me so that blame mad I could just scream.
Yeah.
I could do something besides scream. But anyway, so what is our faith all about? What kind of morality do we have?
Yeah,
What
that's the key. That's what it's about, morals.
Well, whether you're a pastor at a church, or you're just a member of the congregation, or you're just a man on the street, do we have any principles? Do we have any morals? Do we have anything that we stand up for as Christian patriots? When are we going to stand up and fight? I mean, if we stand idly by and watch the LGBT group just take over the United States, we're just as guilty as they are.
Yeah. Thanks for the time, Conn. We're listening.
Okay, I appreciate your call, Rick. Don't lose the phone number. Y'all be careful out there. Okay, now we've got another phone line that we can, y'all can dial in here.
So if you get a busy signal, just go ahead and hang up and call 254-771-2463. That's 771-2463.
And I I hate to get off into religious discussions because invariably people will quote a scripture to prove their point, and somebody will quote another scripture to prove his point. And I do not want to get off into that. But what I do want to talk about is just the principle of what we're talking about. The principle as set forth in biblical scriptures. The principles that have kept us free for 230 years or whatever it's been. The principles that our founding fathers used when they were, I believe, inspired of God to create the Constitution of the United States, the Bill of Rights that we have in this country, the Federalist Papers, the Declaration of Independence. I really, truly believe that those documents were inspired of God. I believe this is a Judeo-Christian nation, and I believe that God had something to do with creating this nation. And I think that when we forget God and godly principles, I think we're traveling the same road that some other societies have traveled in the past. And if memory serves me, it didn't end too well for them folks. Now, I wasn't there, but I've read about them, and I don't think that we as a country ought to try to go there. I guess there are people that would not mind traveling that road. Uh, I sure do hate to see it. But I think, as Rick was talking about the Democrats, I think most of the Democrats that I hear on the news, they're traveling that road. They're traveling the same road that Rome traveled and Sodom and Gomorrah traveled. Many, many societies in our past history have traveled that same road where everything is about sex and it's about money and it's about power. They don't care about freedom. Uh, I hate to see us go down that road, but that's what we're doing. And Eric is telling me that there's a road that I got to get on, and it's called the commercial break, so we can pay a few bills. So we'll turn you loose, and y'all hang on. We'll be right back. Okay, folks, I'm going to dedicate that song to me, because I believe the same thing that song is about. Uh, I don't want to hear somebody run down our country. I think it's the greatest country in the history of the world. And I think that if you don't like this country and you want to change this country, move. Go wherever you want to go, but don't stay here cussing the country. Uh, anyway, let me correct something about old Jack Reed. Reed Realty, Jack Folsom. Uh, he has changed his office, so what I just announced as his address is wrong. His new address is 116 North 3rd Street. He's a two-story house right behind Jack in the Box on 3rd Street. So if y'all are looking for old Jack, well, that's where he's at, 116 North 3rd Street. His phone number is still the same, but he has moved his office. And if y'all have some real estate to sell, go by there and holler at old Jack, 'cause he can dadgum sure get it sold for you. He sure did for me. Uh, Another one I want to mention is Alpha Hydraulics in Spiegelville. That's now his address is 8468 North Highway 6 in Waco, but that's in Spiegelville. Go across the Lake Bridge. Anyway, Alpha Hydraulics is over there, and he works on hydraulic motors, hydraulic valve banks, hydraulic cylinders. If it's hydraulic, he can fix it. He even works on things like those pavement breakers, like you see on a backhoe or on an excavator. He repaired one of those for me one time. He is good at what he does. It's Alpha Hydraulics, and his phone number is 254-848-9981. That's 254-848-9981. It's Alpha Hydraulics. So if y'all have something to work on, we'll take it over there, give him a call, and he can tell you what he can do with it. At any rate, better get back to this show, I guess. We got a caller on the phone. David, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead on.
How you doing, Conn?
Well, I'm making it, I guess. I woke up this morning. I was able to sit up and take nourishment and all that kind of stuff. So,
Well, that's me and you both, my friend. I got back to the Lynn Woolley show this week, and you talking to me earlier. We were talking about you wanting me to call in, so flip something at me and let's talk.
well, I really do appreciate you calling in, David.
No problem.
You taking time away from Lynn Woolley now. Don't get in trouble with Lynn over this. But I always appreciate your views because you have a lot of knowledge on current affairs. And, the thing that is most on my mind today is the fact that we talk a lot about Russia and how terrible they are and how evil Donald Trump is and all about the Russian collusion. That's all you can hear about. I contend that we have two enemies. We have enemies from without, like Russia, China. But I think the worst enemy we face today is the one right here in this country. For example, I believe that Barack Hussein Obama was the worst enemy this country has ever known. So
No, I would agree that the left is definitely our biggest enemy. I mean, it's been said, I don't know by how many great leaders, that if America falls, it'll be from within. It won't be from without. I think China is actually, if you want to go outside the country, I think China is probably our biggest enemy. Russia, Texas has a bigger economy than Russia.
yeah,
So, and yes, they have nuclear weapons. And that, you got to take that into consideration. On the other hand, do they want to use them? No, I don't think they really do. And I think, and I'm like Trump, I think getting along with Russia was probably the best go. And I think getting along with the Chinese is probably the best go. And I think getting along with Iran and getting along with North Korea is the best go. I mean, I'm tired of sending our people, our kids, our young women and young men over places. I may sound libertarian here, but I'm not a libertarian. But on the other hand, I don't see why we should send our people over and put them in danger. If we can just get along.
Hey, David, it's Tina.
Hey, Tina.
I have faith in, we could probably figure out a way to get along with and deal with Russia and all of these other countries. Iran, on the other hand, I'm not so sure. China, in the long term, I think we're going to have to find a way to slow them down and put them down a little bit. Because they really do want to take our place in the world, and I don't think they will fit the shoe.
Well, let me tell you what a threat China has become. You go down to TSC, O'Reilly Auto Parts, Walmart, Sam's, you go anywhere you want to go and pick up a tool and look at where it's made. Pick up an auto part, a clutch for your truck, whatever it may be. Where's it made? It's made in China. And what quality is it? The quality is about a third of what it is if it's made in the United States. But
Trump, I see Trump trying to change some of that. And I agree with what Tina said, and I agree with what you're saying. There's threats outside this country, but if we could actually, I would rather get along with these people than go to war with them. I mean, even a trade war. And, and Trump, everybody's worried about the trade war. The stock market's having a stroke and all that.
I'm not.
About a trade war. But this is the art of the deal. I mean, he's clamping down on them, and they've got more to lose than we do.
Well, and just look at the common sense of what Donald Trump is saying. Countries that send their automobiles over here, we charge them a 2.5% tariff. When we send ours over there, they charge us a 25% tariff. Now, what's fair about that, and what about that makes any common sense to anybody? Nothing.
Well, it doesn't, and that's the thing. I mean, it makes sense to the rhinos and the never Trumpers, and it makes sense to the Democrats because that's the way it's always been. And Trump is, that's what he does. He busts up the cabal, and and draws attention to the fact that, hey, this isn't right. And that's one of the reasons that I'm a huge Trumper, because of the fact that he does things like that. And he draws attention to it. And if anybody with common sense, like you're talking about, Conn, would sit there and go, well, that's not right. Well, most of these others, George Will doesn't understand that.
Well, he doesn't, and I'm concerned that whatever happened to common sense in this country, so much of what Donald Trump is doing just makes logic, common sense, rational thinking, whatever. So when you've got Democrats or talk show hosts or whoever that is really down on Trump and criticizing Trump, do they not understand the rationale of what he's doing? Do they not have a degree of common sense to use, to apply to what's happening to us? It's concerning to me that we've got so many people that, as my mother used to say, they can't think past the end of their nose.
Yeah, the thing I don't even know if they're thinking. They liked the way things were. They liked the Bush administration. They liked the Clinton administration. They liked the Obama administration because guess what? That was and nothing changed during those three presidential terms. Actually, once in fact, goes all the way back to H.W. Bush. But Reagan changed things. And then after that, we dropped back, and we went into a whole run of a Bush, a Clinton, a Bush, and then Obama. And that's, they were happy in Washington because that's what they wanted. Trump, he messes with the status quo, and they don't like that.
Well, they don't like it because they lose some of their power and I guess some of their money to go with it. But what concerns me is, are they more interested in their personal power and their personal money than they are in the United States of America and the freedom that our whole society enjoys? Would they
Well, I
willingly
would
give
say
up?
yes.
They'd give up our freedom and our society, everything that we hold dear. They'd give it up to get one more Democrat vote and keep them in office.
Well, no. I mean, it's not just Democrats, unfortunately.
No,
I mean,
no, it's not.
there's some rhino Republicans up there. I mean, that feel the same way.
Yeah, they're just as bad.
And they just enjoy their power. They want to have their power, and they don't want. But Trump has he's shown the light on a lot of this stuff. I mean, I thought, and I'm probably I'm going to speak for you for a minute, and then you can correct me if I'm wrong. But I used to think that the CIA and the FBI were good. You know, they were working for the good of this country. Well, now we found out that they're Democratic operatives. At least some of the top people in the Obama administration, at least, were Democratic operatives.
Well, and how does that differ from the KGB in Russia, David? How does that differ from the SS in Germany? You know, now they're
Not
accusing
much.
Trump of all these evil kind of things, but pray tell me, if the FBI and the CIA and the Justice Department, if they're doing the same thing that the KGB in Russia did, you know, if it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, swims like a duck, David, maybe it's a damn duck.
That's right. You got to be careful when you say duck on the radio.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but on the other hand, you're right. I mean, it's just that it seems like that the fix was in, and we didn't realize it, and now all of a sudden Trump comes in, and they're fighting him as hard as they possibly can, and yet the light gets shined on some of these cockroaches that are running all over the floor in the middle of the night, and it's like, okay, then why can't we do something about it? I can't believe Peter Strzok is still on the FBI payroll.
Well, did you know that he
those
was raised in Iran?
Yes, ma'am, sure did. And his daddy was a huge Iranian supporter.
Yeah.
Well, that's the rotten it stinks, David. Why isn't that on the news every night? Why aren't we connecting the dots with Peter Strzok, Iran, the Muslims, Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton? Why can't we connect the dots?
Well, the national media doesn't want to do that. I mean, that defeats their purpose. They are all Democratic operatives, pretty much. I mean, Fox News even. I mean, Fox News is the best way to go. But even then, I mean, Fox still
They
has
lack a lot.
people. Yes, I mean, you got Shep Smith over there. You got Wine Williams, and even some of the really good ones. They're held back by the fact that they have to work there, and there's some people in the management that's not going to let that happen.
Well, you know what I've learned from working on Conn's Facebook page is that you have to go and research and study and search and search and search in all these corners of the internet for reputable sources. And they're there. But it's a lot of work, and it's time consuming to try to put that information together and put it up there, and then even to tie all the pieces together, because it's such a huge puzzle.
Well, and
as a producer for the Woolly Show, and Luann will tell you the same thing. There's times that people call in and they give us some information, and we research it and we try to verify it, and sometimes it's not verifiable, sometimes it's wrong. But the other times we research it and we find out that that's gospel. I mean, and so you've got to do that. I mean, but people, unfortunately, there's a group of people out there, and I would say Democrats, but there are some Republicans like this too, that anything they see, the headlines in in New York Times, Washington Post, or the Wall Street Journal, then that's gospel. Well, it's not, because we know that there's fake news out there.
Well, and two, David, I think there is an effort to put out disinformation, especially to people like us, in the hopes that we will spread that disinformation and be proven wrong
And be lazy and not research.
and lose our credibility. So
Absolutely.
that's one way to destroy Lynn Woolley, Con Tatum, Rush Limbaugh, or anybody else.
And that's why we have to be so careful. I mean, the thing is, like I say, if you're producing or helping run a talk radio show nowadays, especially a conservative talk radio show, I mean, they don't matter. First of all, the liberals don't have talk radio because and if they do, they don't care about being truthful. But you do have to work and dig and make sure what you're saying is correct. And hey, there's been times we've got to have to go back and say, hey, we said something here that wasn't right, and actually admit it. But I mean, unfortunately we're not like the New York Times or any other newspaper that can just hide it. They'll put it on page 33 and then say, oh yeah, we were wrong about such and such. But nobody saw that, and we'll say it out loud. Hey, we're wrong.
Well, it's called honesty, David. We conservatives are honest enough to say, well, we misspoke, or I made a mistake, or
Sure.
We can do that. But the liberals don't. They just add to it, make it worse. They try to cover it up with more lies or whatever. And when is the general public going to wake up to what's happening to our country?
I got to say this. I think the general public, I know that the right-hand side of the country, the right, and the left side of the country, they aren't going to ever do that. But I think the people that elected Donald Trump, they get it. And I think, and that's why I predicted, and this is my opinion only. I think the red wave is coming in November. They've talked about the blue wave all they want, but I think the red wave is coming in November, and it won't surprise me when we have more votes in Congress for Donald Trump, because I think that the people that actually get this country running and that go to work every day, they get it. They understand.
Well, let me make a prediction for you, David. If the blue wave does occur, America's over.
I agree with that, but I don't think that I can't. From what I see at this point, the blue wave is a blue puddle. I mean, it's just not happening.
But if we believe and we talk about the red wave is coming across and we're going to be all right, we're going to be able to pull it out. We take the chance on people getting lazy and not showing up at the ballot box. They have to show up.
And you're right. The thing is, I'm not saying don't show up at the ballot box.
No, I agree. I understand.
I'm saying everybody should be, ready to go. I mean, I'm ready to vote. I'd vote today. I mean, let's go. And I think that most people are that way.
The worst enemy we face in this country is apathy. If we just want to go home and watch the next football game and not vote or not participate in protecting freedom, we're going to lose freedom. And I think a lot of people don't realize how close we are to losing this country. I hate to sound like a pessimist, but if we sit on our laurels and don't stand for something, if we don't stand up for freedom, we're going to lose it, folks. So
that's true. And but the thing is, I truly believe, I think one of the things that Trump has really done is he's excited the base. He's excited most of us.
Yeah.
With truth?
Hey, everything he does is not perfect. Don't get me wrong. But on the other side, he excites me. He makes me want to go vote. He makes me want to go. And I think he makes a lot of people want to do that. And I think that that's the way, I believe, at least, that's the way a lot of people are going to do, and they're going to be fine. I mean, you look at Texas right now. I looked up the numbers in the polls. Beto O'Rourke is running against Ted Cruz. And everybody's saying, well, Beto has raised so much money. Well, I looked at the Real Clear Politics poll yesterday. Ted Cruz beat me by 10 points. I mean, in the poll. and he's got the powers of incumbency, and I think he's going to crush Beto O'Rourke.
Well,
And same way with Greg Abbott and you know the
yeah,
the
the what's her name?
crazy woman that running against him for governor. I mean, he's up 13.2 points. So I mean,
Well, and that's a lot, David. But why aren't they up by 40 points?
Well, they should be, but I mean, you gotta remember Austin and Dallas and Houston are going to be polled too. I mean,
well, and that's what scares me, is Austin and Dallas and L.A. and places like that, because they're growing. I see them growing. Ted Cruz is up by 10%. Heck, far I don't know why he's not up by 50%. But
so he should be.
He should be. And if we sit back and say, well, Ted Cruz has got it made, then he ain't gonna have it made.
We got to all go vote. There's no doubt about that. And that's where I get in trouble sometimes with Lynn. I say, hey, he's going to win. And Lynn's like, well, we all got to get out to vote. I'm like, well, I'm going to vote. Are you going to vote? I mean, I'm planning on doing that. I'm not telling nobody not to vote. I'm just saying we're going to win.
Yeah.
Well, I think that Trump has brought truth and realism back to the American people, something they can actually believe in again. I think they had left politics completely. They had left the idea of having any kind of influence on how America was being governed, because they just couldn't figure out how to have any kind of input. And
I think the difference is some people operate on theory, and Donald Trump is operating on experience and reality. David, Eric is over here pointing fingers at me and throwing things and whatnot, saying we've got to go to a break. So
no, that's fine. I've probably taken enough of y'all's time, but I appreciate the conversation, and I hope lots of other people will call in, and y'all have a great show.
David, everybody has enjoyed your conversation.
Absolutely,
I think.
Thank you.
I love this show, and y'all just just keep on keeping on, okay?
Well, and let me say that
we're glad you're back.
Yeah, and I don't want to be interfering with anything, but I might just say that take care of your wife. And folks out there, David's wife could stand a few prayers. So.
Yes, she surely could. And I appreciate everybody that has done that. And I appreciate the listeners of not only our show, but your show that have reached out to me during this. And we all appreciate it. And, I'll probably be back on if everything goes well, I'll probably be back on the Wooly Show Thursday and Friday next week as well.
Good. David, you be careful out there and give your wife our best.
Absolutely. Thank you, Tom. Y'all have a great night.
Thank you, David.
Bye-bye.
And we're going to break. Y'all hang in there. We'll be right back. Tell 'em about it, Bob. There's Bob Will and them old Texas Playboys playing that old dancing music, doggone. Make you want to get out there on that sawdust floor and scoot them boots around. Okay, here we are, folks, back on the Common Sense with Conn show. And we got a caller on the line. I think his name is Rick. I think I've heard him before. Rick, are you there?
Yes, you can hear me, can't you?
Yes, sir. Go ahead on.
All right. I was just listening to David and you talking. He brought up the Chinese, and I think a lot of people nowadays are talking about, immigration, and we've had a lot of bad weather out in the Atlantic, and we had some series of tornadoes go through Puerto Rico, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
Or one. Well, and there was a lot of damage there. And as a result, there's a lot of people from Puerto Rico leaving and going to, of course, Florida, because they like Florida and they can assimilate there, I guess. But the one thing that's going to have a unintended consequence is they're going to be able to vote and swing some elections, maybe. I don't know. But I was thinking, well, there's a place, that is a place where we need people. And I say, wasn't there a Ellis Island and a place where people could go and sort of be vetted and taken care of and
well,
sort of kind of like see if they can assimilate. And I think, wouldn't Puerto Rico be a good place for immigrants to go to, or illegals that we catch, and we can release them there? How's that?
Let me ask you a question, Rick. Do you know what else? Does all of the Puerto Rican people love America? Do you know if they
half
do or
of
not?
them? I think it's half and half. It's a love-hate, just like France.
Do you know where Justice Sotomayor is connected to?
Probably Puerto Rico. Was a New York Puerto Rican, right?
Well, but there is a group of terrorists in Puerto Rico that really hates America. Yeah, and I don't know, a lot of people don't know this, but in 1955 they expressed their hatred of America.
Yeah.
They came down to the House of Representatives with a machine gun and shot the place up.
Oh, man.
That happened in
Sounds like Cuba.
That happened in 1955. Now, you can look it up. Most people don't know that. They have forgotten about it, or maybe they don't want to know about it, but that happened. And, talking about Trump's nominations for the Supreme Court and all that kind of stuff, how they're worried about Roe v. Wade or whatever it is they're worried about. Nobody seemed to worry about it when Barack Obama nominated Elena Kagan, which I think has never tried a case, but she just sailed right through the confirmation process. And look at Sotomayor. What qualification did she have besides being a America-hating terrorist? What else did she do? But nobody questioned her.
I don't want to put any bad light on Puerto Rican citizens. They're American citizens, and they serve proudly in the military, and I've served alongside of a lot of them, and I've always been curious about life in Puerto Rico, and I just know it's hard right now, but it needs people.
Well, and I'm not criticizing all Puerto Ricans, but I'm just saying, whether you're from Puerto Rico or Hulamala, Wisconsin, if you don't love America, you don't need to be here.
Right, I get it. I was just trying to throw out a solution. I know it's kind of stupid as far as that's apples and oranges, but it's like, hey, make some fruit salad.
I do believe your point is an excellent point, and that is, I wish we had a place to put immigrants to kind of take more time to vet them, to find out who they are and what they are, and what do they want for America. We cannot open the floodgates and flood America with people that we don't know who they are.
Well, they need to have a love and know the history of how to continue the great experiment, and it's still an experiment. I mean, we're still evolving.
And Rick, we got 30 seconds. So,
All right, countdown. Are we going to? Is it going to be the end of the world?
well, the Democrats think if Trump stays in there, it'll be the end of the world. So,
Well, I choose Jesus. How's that?
yeah,
There you go.
There you go.
Amen.
Just the end of this hour, and we'll pick up everybody on the other side on the new hour.
Talk to him, Bob. Oh, there's some of that old Texas music going on there. I hate to interrupt it, but I need to talk a little bit about extreme hose and hydraulics out here in Bell County. You people out there that's got a hydraulic hose on your backhoe or your tractor or your excavator or whatever it may be on, if you need a hydraulic hose built, well, the place for you to go is to 5300 South General Bruce Drive in Temple and talk to Extreme Hose and Hydraulic Service out there. That talk to Frank or his men. They will get you a hose fixed, and they'll do it quick, fast, and in a hurry.
Well, that'll sure mess up your day having hydraulic spray all over the place, won't it?
Yeah, if you got a hydraulic hose that's looking awful weak, like I've got some of, it needs to be replaced. Replace it before it breaks, not after.
Yeah, that would be my practice. I wait until they break.
Yeah, if you're not careful, it'll break. Then you got to buy a hose and hydraulic oil both. So y'all go by there and see old Frank at Extreme Hose at 5300 South General Bruce Drive, and his telephone number is 254-231-3403. That is 254-231-3403. And while I'm talking about things like that, let me mention old Bill Schumann. Bill Schumann is a fine sponsor of this show.
And a gentleman.
And a gentleman and just a good Christian man. He is also Bell County Commissioner of Precinct 3. And he's not running for any office right now. He's already in office as the commissioner. But I'm telling you, in the future, if he runs for something, remember his name, Bill Schumann.
This
He
is your
just
guy,
a
right?
Good guy. Yes, ma'am, he sure is. Also, somebody else to remember is the Nolanville DAV. That's the Nolanville Disabled
Veteran.
Veterans. They service disabled veterans, but one more thing they do is disabled veterans' spouses. If you're a disabled veteran and you pass away and your wife needs a little help or something, keep in mind Nolanville DAV. They're just a good bunch of folks out there. Very, very clean operation. Go by there and say hello to them.
They help with some guidance and stuff too, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
Kind of help lead you in the right direction.
And, things like that. Their phone number is 859-620-0879. That's 859-620-0879. You call old Greg Dunham up there, and if you've got a problem, he'll sure try to help you.
I think Lobo's on the phone.
Hey, we got somebody on the phone?
Yes, we do.
Okay, we got a caller on the phone. Y'all go ahead.
Hey,
Are you,
Conn,
yes, sir.
God bless President Trump.
Amen to that.
It's been about 3 weeks since I called in and spoke to you last time, Con.
Yeah, I missed
And
it.
the last time I talked to you, I just got back from Colorado and had that little mistake out there with that. I guess that Coloradian. I don't even know what you would call him. I'd like to go ahead and say something real quick on the side, if I could.
Okay.
The DAV, the Disabled American Veterans, I've been a life member of since when I retired out of the United States military. A real good organization. They're based throughout the United States. They also are a go-between some of the veterans out there that are listening, if they're just getting out of the service. The DAV is inside a lot of the veterans regional services, just like the one up here in Waco. They have a DAV organization inside the veterans office. It's at 701 Clay Avenue. But the DAV they're really good people. They're all vets, been there. They rode the river, and they help navigate the Veterans Administration system, and they can help you get through it a little bit quicker. But the Disabled American Veterans, they've been around for a long time, and yes, they are a clean operation.
Yeah.
The reason I said God bless President Trump and God bless America. 18 months ago, nobody, I don't care, Democrat, Republican, conservative, independent, whatever you're going to call yourself, nobody out there ever knew, but the people that's behind our president knew where he could be today. And the reason he's there today, Con, I truly believe is because the man believes in God and he believes in what he's doing. And, everybody messes up. Everybody does things they're not supposed to. And I'm sure our president's done a few of those things too, possibly. I don't know. I ain't nobody. But I guarantee you one thing. This country is sevenfold better with him where he is than we could ever be without him.
And they're trying to find any little thing to accuse Trump of doing wrong. It doesn't matter if it was 50 years ago. And
Yep.
Donald Trump is not perfect. The guy that's perfect is not president.
Yes, sir.
President is Donald Trump. God's not president. Donald Trump is. And he is
Yes, sir.
doing, I think, a fine job. And I'll go one notch further and say, I believe the good Lord put him where he's at.
Yes.
Amen. I believe that, sir. I believe that exact same thing. One of the last things when they were campaigning, his wife said, was pray for my husband. And that stuck with me. And as what President Trump has said, we have now seen with this Pfizer release memo that has come out, the Clinton campaign bought and sold the Democrats, pushed them out of the way, and they thought they had a global cabal that was fixing to go. It was almost like what Capper jerk out there in San Francisco. He was going to use the NFL as a platform for whatever reason, a spoiled little rich kid. He tried to use the NFL platform, and he couldn't because it wasn't what he was supposed to be doing. It was wrong. The Clintons and the cabal, the global cabal they were trying to put together was key people in key places. And they thought they were going to use the United States as their platform. And they found out they can't do that. You know why? Because this is one nation under God. And he's seen fit to make sure. And now that everything that President Trump has said about what those people have done, everything, verbatim, get Sean Hannity, get Rush Limbaugh, get Alex Jones, get Tucker Carlson, just a few other people I have a little bit of time to listen to, such as yourself, Con. Everything they've said, and they've been sticking their chin out, leading the way for our president. But everything that they've been putting out there has come true. And now, we're fixing to see with this last Pfizer release memo that came out, they're fixing to pull the drain, and there's a whole bunch of people. It's looking like from the ex-president Obama down, they could possibly be looking at going to federal prison, which they need to do.
Did they,
What they do.
did they
need to
release
go.
that in the last hour or so?
I'm not real sure, ma'am. I almost didn't get to call you today. I happened to get in. I just come in. I throw my work boots off, Con. They're over there in the corner. And I looked at what time it was. I said, man, I got to touch base with the best talk show host in the United States.
Oh, my
Goodness.
Oh,
Oh, please
listen
don't
here.
do that to him.
That's straight from Lobo 5 out here in Copper's Cove. The funniest thing is, Con, I went back and I was going on your website and trying to find your June 30th live radio talk show. There was one there from the 23rd and from the 7th, but I couldn't find the 30th. I looked everywhere. I called in and talked to a guy. I just couldn't find that. Do y'all keep them on and have them to where we can go on the? Then maybe I'm having a hard time just finding where it's at.
It
You
may
know what
be.
I'm saying?
It may be one that is actually on the YouTube channel, because yeah.
Okay.
So I posted it on. If it's on YouTube, it's been posted on Facebook, but maybe you just missed it because I've been posting a lot of stuff in the last couple of weeks.
I've been noticing, and the one specifically I'm talking about is June 30th.
Okay. Well, if you'll message me, just send me a message on the Facebook page. I will find that link and I will send that link to you so that you can watch it.
There were some people on there that day that spoke, the one before me and about two after me, that definitely got the right key going. Hey, Conn, everything that our president has told us, they can say all they want, all them haters, all them losers, and no matter what, they're still going to be walking around with that big L on their forehead because they lost, and they're nothing but losers. And now they're whiny cats, and I can think of a whole bunch of other good names for them, but I'm not going to go ahead and throw that out there. I feel bad enough just saying that.
But Lobo, let me inject something here. I believe America is in the most danger it has ever been in the history of this country. And I also believe that if America is saved, it will be Donald Trump and Lobo and Cal and
all the people that support this show and other shows similar to it.
Yeah, we Christian freedom-loving Americans have got to stand up and stand for something. And if we don't defend this country right now, we're going to lose it, Lobo. And I hate to sound like a pessimist, but I'm telling you, I am concerned. I am worried about the future of this country. I'm
sitting down, I'm talking to my grandchildren, I'm talking to my children, I'm having heart-to-hearts with them. I should be being able to play out in the sandbox with them. But Grandpa, Pops, as they call me, and Pappy, I'm having to sit down and have heart-to-hearts with them. They're young, and I keep it at their level. But the bottom line up front is those people out there got it down into their level, first, second, third, and fourth grade.
Oh, yeah.
And it's almost like an indoctrination they're putting our own children through. And the sad part is where does the money come from that allows them to do that? And you see our president, he knows where that money's coming from. Because if there's special interests and lobbyist groups and whatever else little title they want to put on their name, it's got into our school systems and doing what they're doing to our grandchildren and our children, they've got a lot of money, Conn, because to be able to have a platform that's reaching that far, they got a lot of money.
I think it was somebody named Adolf said, "Give me the youth of a nation and I'll give you the nation." And that's what,
yes, sir.
Go down to our public schools today. We're giving away our children today through the school system and the university system. We've got university professors that are, they're so far out there in left field that, golly bum, and we're sending our children to the college to learn from that bunch of screwballs. Now, they're not all that way, but
no, so they're not in, to bring it in, to reel this back in, bring it real close to us. That Major Noddle Hussein out here at Fort Hood, the gentleman that killed all those innocent people, he murdered. It was a terrorist act, Conn, hear me. And see, I'm a former senior NCO in the United States military. I'm one of them old beat-up airborne rangers, Conn. I think I've told you that before. But the bottom line up front is his chain of command fell to every soldier that got killed or hurt that day. Because you see, the story goes that his last two duty positions, he got ran off.
Yeah.
They knew. And the reason they didn't do anything is because they were too scared of that Muslim word.
Yeah, but what was General Casey worried about? He wasn't worried about Muslims killing every soldier out there. He was worried about diversity.
Thank you.
That makes me so dadgum mad. Now see, Lobo, you done got me stirred up.
But it needs to remember, because it's infiltrated our military too, and it's a private sanction. It's a private entity. And, once they start doing it even out there to where they have senior officers afraid to do their job because of a Muslim, there's no hope. There's no hope. And that end out there because they passed the buck. Passed the buck.
How do you defeat, Lobo, how do you defeat any enemy if you don't first recognize the enemy? You know, if you
People have
don't
gotten away with not watching.
if you don't understand that he's out to kill you, how are you going to defend yourself?
You know, you read into their little thing, and they'll lie to you right to your face, and as soon as you turn around,
Hey,
stick a knife
Lobo,
in your
do you remember when they changed the uniform code where a Muslim could change his headwear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I thought that was wrong. I said something about it then. I had a lot of officers tell me that I was full of it. You know, and I said if you allow this to happen now, you will have. It's just opening the door to all kinds of other things. Everybody in there needs to be viewed the same, treated the same.
Yes.
Yeah, you lose all that. Anyway, I was going to also tell you that if you'll go to the Facebook page yesterday evening, at 11:40, I posted something about the Podesta group. It's
Okay.
a anyway, it's a video. You need to watch it. It'll be right up your alley, and you cannot believe all the things that are tied up with Russia and that.
Oh, yeah. It's amazing. They have a gentleman where I work. I work for a private contractor, private military contractor right now, Con. And one of the gentlemen that works out there with me, he's one of them old snoop and poop boys from the days gone by, first-rate soldier. He told me about a gentleman that's called QAnon.
Yeah.
The Q with like anonymous QAnon.
Yeah.
I'm driving out of Coppers Cove. Now think of this: Coppers Cove, Texas, population Salu, right? And on the old 7-Eleven 190 where Martin Luther King kicks off behind and goes behind the Walmart and that, there's a billboard there, and it's been to rent for years. It's been by the 7-Eleven and the Bill French Jewelers there. But up on there, somebody had put QAnon, and underneath it, all it said was "Wake up, America." I mean, it's getting there. The word is getting out.
He's all over YouTube, and so many of the YouTube channels are picking him up and playing him.
Well, we better wake up, Lobo. We better wake up and pay attention.
People are getting hate. The thing is, even though the divide was like 49 to 51, it teetered the ship the right way, and people are looking. They're starting to take a look at a lot more things. And thank God we still got this term with the president. And I don't see anybody. They can't stack three people up good enough to beat him for his second term. And by that time frame, with what he's got going on and what is all being revealed, the talk show host, QAnon, everything is coming out is the truth. I'm really surprised at the Democratic Party. They're not having actual infighting and shooting each other, chambers. I mean, they all bought out and sold out to the Clintons and found out they're dirty. They put the capital D in dirty for politics, for sure.
Lobo, I believe that Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama, they own them. I think they have information on people, and they have either scared them or bought them. But I believe they own Bob Mueller. I think they own Jeff Sessions. I think they own a lot of powerful people. And if we don't...
The FBI director Comey tried to go in and blackmail the president with that dossier.
Mm-hmm.
Think about what really took place, Con.
Well,
I mean, in all actuality, the director of our FBI took a false dossier into our president, the president in office right now, and tried to tell him, "We got the goods on you. Look here, we got you."
well,
Donald Trump said, "You ain't got nothing except you're getting fired."
yeah, but
out of the office.
if we don't figure out some way to get rid of Bob Mueller, I don't think he's going to stop until he destroys Donald Trump and America along with it. And I don't know what the answer to getting rid of him is, but
I think we need to take our voices to the street, just not in a violent manner. And God, I hope it doesn't take till 2020 to get that done. But I think we need to get out there, just like the left does, and be heard.
well,
It's happening. It is happening. In your talk show in this area, I pray that, as we talk, it spreads more and more and more each week. There's people that come to me and talk about you now, Con, so your show is working.
Well, I pray that too, but we're going to need some more sponsors to keep it on the air.
Yes, ma'am. Very true. And I understand that word. Being a former business owner, I completely understand what you're saying. And it's very true.
Well, and the money's not to pay anybody other than KTIM. That's all we need to do is pay the airtime.
Yeah,
Yes, ma'am.
keep in mind,
Yes,
I don't make one crying dime out of this show.
yes, sir.
Uh,
Yes, sir. I understand that. That's why a lot of us are glad that you're out there. Do you remember the old KTON that used to play right there in the old Gibson's parking lot when the old 190 went through the center of Killeen?
yeah, yeah.
You may remember the old KTON? They had it in like a thing. I was trying to think of what that gentleman's, the very first man. This is back in like '68, Con, or '69, somewhere in there. I was trying to think of. It wasn't Joe Lombardi. He was here in Copper's Cove. I just can't remember. And I remember, when they were first trying to get their sponsors and get set up and given everything. And the word is getting out, and hopefully the people that are there and that are capable, they're going to understand the need, and they're going to understand what has to happen. The need not only has to happen for the sponsoring, but the need and the desire to spread the word both. It's kind of like which one is the most important. But I do understand. I hope the ears are open. You can pray, Lord, let me see, but Lord, let me also hear too.
Well, there's a scripture, Lobo, that says, "None is so blind as he who will not see."
Yes,
And
sir.
we have
Yes,
a
sir.
lot of people in this country that will not see. But I hope that this show and other shows like this can plant the seed for thought in people's brain and give them something to think about. And I hope that seed grows into a live oak tree. You know,
Yes,
uh,
sir. Yes, sir.
Very
and that's
stout.
people like yourself and people that call in. This is not about me spreading the word. This is about y'all spreading the word, and
Yes,
that's
sir.
why I really appreciate your call and callers like you and people that
Sure.
support this show. And
Yeah, the
uh,
gentleman that took my call asked my name. I told him, I said, it's Lobo from out here in the Five Hills, long in the tooth and silver in the beard.
there
And
you
I love getting on your talk show. Rest assured, Con, I heard a long time ago, keep your K-bars sharp, keep your powder dry.
there
Thank
you
you for
go.
allowing me. Thank you
Hey,
for allowing me. This end is working. If your end is working, then I know the people that you're with is working. The ones that are with me are working.
Yeah,
We all got to keep our nose to the grindstone, Con.
yeah.
hey,
It's working,
Lobo,
sir. It's working.
Lobo.
Yes, ma'am.
The
Yes,
link that
ma'am.
you're looking for was posted July 15th at 6:18, and it's a YouTube link. So,
Excellent, excellent, excellent.
and if you
I'll go
can't
back and
find it,
explain that
then
over
just
there.
message me.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I'm sure to be honored. I
All right.
appreciate it.
Th-
Look,
thank,
Have a good
God
evening.
bless you. God bless all of you. Thank you for my time. I'm sitting here looking at the clock, and I'm like, Con, let me talk again for more time than I ever have good common sense to talk about.
well, we enjoy good callers like you, Lobo, and it's like I've said about some people. You're just a good soldier in the fight for freedom, Lobo.
We need more of them.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes,
you
ma'am, we do.
keep up the
Thank you
fight,
very
Lobo.
much.
Thank
Oh, yes,
you.
sir. Hey, you can rest your assured head at night when you lay down and say your prayers that I've worked my full day. Have a great day. Enjoy the weekend.
Hey,
Great talking to you.
Thank you now. I think we're going to break, folks, so y'all hang in there. We'll be back in just a few
Yeah, he
minutes.
talked us all the way to break. That was good.
Okay, here we are back on the Common Sense with Conn show. Uh, that's old Ray Charles singing about America, and uh, I don't think he'll ever be the director of the Boston Philharmonic, but I think he means what he says when he sings that old song. At any rate, we're back on the show here. If y'all have something to say, well, the phone number here is 254-773-1400.
And 254-771-2463, and that's a direct dial. It's not a rollover. And real quick, I just wanted to mention we had some mail this week on a couple of the past shows. And what I did was I went ahead and posted those emails onto the Facebook page and just took out the people's names. Feel free to go in there and put your 2 cents in. Just remember to be respectful, no foul language.
Yeah, and I think I'm just really proud of our listeners and contributors. We don't use any foul, nasty language on this show, and our callers don't either. And I'm sure proud of that because, well, number one, I wouldn't put up with it. I believe we should respect other people, and we should respect our morals in this country. And I think we have some morals here. If we don't, we should have. But like the language that Whoopi Goldberg used against Judge Janine, that's I got to be careful what I say here. But if you talk like one and you act like one, then maybe you are one. And I won't go any further
Silence
with that.
is golden.
Yeah,
I was going to tell you, you've had 2 people on your Facebook page since I've been managing it that have been foul. One of them got themselves expelled from it, their band, because he just couldn't stop. But the people from other countries, you've got probably people from maybe 6 other countries that follow your page all the time.
Oh.
And in several other states as well. I mean, you have quite a lot of people from out of state. But the people from the other country, some of those people are just the most nice, respectful, polite, people that you would ever want to meet. And above some of the lovely people that are supposed to be on our side that have some language issues.
Well, I hope that we appeal to people with with some integrity and some character and some morality. Those things are important to me, and they should be important to anyone who loves this country and who respects Judeo-Christian values. And not just Christians. I mean, I'm sure there are some good Muslims, Hindus, whatever,
Buddhists
that love freedom and things like that. And I'll respect them as long as they respect this country and our value system here. So I believe we got a caller on the line. I think it's Bill. Bill, are you there?
Good morning, evening, Con.
Hey, Bill, do you happen to have it on speakerphone?
Yes.
Okay, can you put it on just the regular receiver?
If I can hear you, hold on.
Okay. It just got a lot of feedback.
Yeah.
Yeah, speakerphones are nice,
Yeah.
but they give a lot of feedback.
Well, they do.
Okay.
Oh, that's better.
Well, I got to, but I got to go to work.
Oh,
Are you
okay.
serious?
I'll talk to you later.
Okay, well, you have a good afternoon.
Well, don't work too hard out there, Bill. Be careful. Okay.
I guess he looked up and saw what time it was and went, oh my gosh.
Well, Bill's letting his work interfere with his politicking.
There you go. Well, that sounds like somebody else I know.
I wonder who you're talking about. Anyway.
I'm sitting across the table from him.
Well, having said all that, I have really enjoyed the show today. We've had some really, really good callers and a good conversation. And
Well, you got 15 minutes to go through 6 pages of notes you haven't even touched.
I know it. My dear wife makes notes for me and all kind of stuff like
Oh,
that.
and you got to call again. You're
and
never going to get any of them then.
so far, I've been through about a half a page of notes, and I think we got about 7 pages. So, but that happens when we got good callers that have good conversation. So,
I'm telling you, you just needed the third hour.
yeah, we just need more time, I guess. There's a Rick on the phone. Rick, go ahead on.
Yeah, you got a lot of Ricks around here, don't you?
Yeah, you're about the third one.
Hey, before I get to my point, and I'll try to be brief after I do get to my point, if anybody wants to complain about programming on KTEM, like maybe taking off the front bencher from 5 to 8 p.m. And putting on somebody else, the number is 771-1400 for Times Square Entertainment, and it's business hours, 9 to 5. Not that I have anything against Dave Ramsey. But, yeah. But anyway, all the hatred on Facebook for Donald Trump that you see, if you're like me, you have a lot of friends from all over the place that are interested in the same kind of pop culture and stuff, and it's easy after you get used to it to weed out the scammers and stuff like that. But a heck of a lot of these people don't know anything about politics, and they just are like, I don't know, they just go with the flow, and they think it's fun to make fun of Donald Trump. And I think that there's a backlash coming against that, because I haven't seen anything like it so far. I mean, it's amazing how many people are starting to get tired of all the hatred of Donald Trump, and it's refreshing to see that, because it drives me nuts. I don't even respond to these people. I just ignore the stuff.
Well,
and I think
Rick, I got a question. Are they real live people, or are they parrots? Do they just repeat what they heard?
Well, what's funny to me is there are these fancy things that you can get on Facebook that are funny, like a picture of a cat with a caption, something like that. And they have a lot of them that are political. And these people don't realize that it's probably the Russians that are making a lot of these things that are against Donald Trump. That's what's ironic about it to me, is these people that hate Donald Trump so much and think that he's a puppet of Putin don't realize that those memes and stuff that they're posting are probably made by the Russians.
Well,
Good point.
They're just repeating what they heard, Rick. I don't think they have applied 1 ounce of common sense to what they heard. They just repeated. They're parrots, or they're sheep, or I don't know, but that kind of stuff.
But it's amazing to me that they put out the effort to do the negative, but they don't put out any effort to do anything that's positive.
Well,
yeah, I think the funniest one I've seen so far was a picture of the Obamas, and it said 8 years, no scandals.
Yeah. Well, yeah, 8 years of no scandals, but pure.
Yeah, but they're all coming out now in the 9th year, aren't they?
Anyway, I guess everybody forgot about sending all that money to Iran. I mean, I don't know what the deal is with that. Anyway, I enjoy the show. I know you only got 15 minutes left, and I've enjoyed it, and I'll talk to y'all next time.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, call back in next Saturday, Rick. We look forward to your calls. Okay, I think we're having to go to a break here right quick.
Eric sure does want to go to a lot of breaks today. This is more than normal, Eric. What's with that?
That Eric keeps breaking for things, maybe, or breaking things. I'm not. Anyway, y'all hang in. We'll be right back in just a minute. Okay, here we are, folks. Going to interrupt that old Bob Wills Texas music again. Here we are back on the Common Sense with Conn call-in talk show. We are having some very good conversations today, as we do every Saturday. So if y'all want to participate in a good conversation, the phone number to call is 773-1400. That's 254-773-1400.
And 771-2463.
Yeah, call either one of them, and you'll plug into us, and we'll talk about it, whatever it is you want to talk about.
Yeah, it's too bad that the audience can't hear some of the conversations we've had off the air. Those have been pretty good too.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe they shouldn't.
There is so much to talk about. Look at Chicago. If you want to know where Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton and that group, you want to know where they want to take America, all you have to do is look at Chicago. And if you think you would like to do that with America, just look at Chicago. They're proposing giving 1,000 citizens $500 a month. Just, it's a Bernie Sanders thing. Guarantee people $500 a month whether they work or not.
Yeah, and you don't have to report what you did with it, how many drugs you bought with it, how long they lasted you.
Yeah, you don't have to report any part of it, but that's the same thing Bernie Sanders was talking about doing to the country. And that, what do you call that, communism, or what do you call that? But whatever it is that what we want for America?
Well, there is a bright side to it. The rest of the country can watch it fail.
Yeah, and Chicago today is $63 billion in debt. They have an 8% sales tax, and they are losing 10 taxpayers per minute in Chicago. 10 tax-paying citizens
Is that
leave
because
there.
Is that because they're moving out or they're getting shot?
Well, either getting shot or they're moving out. So I guess the smart ones move out and the dumb ones get shot. But whatever it is, I'm just saying, is that what we want for America? The woman Cortez in New York, a socialist, communist, whatever you want to call her, is that what the Democrat Party has turned into? Take a look at Chicago. And another thing, and I won't get off into it too deep, but you look at the people that Chicago has produced. Bill Ayers, Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, Jeremiah Wright, Louis Farrakhan, the list goes on and on. I don't know what it is about Chicago.
That they produce such outstanding citizens?
But yeah, take a look at those people and tell me that's who you want to see as leadership in the United States. Can you say Al Capone's organization? That's what it looks like to me.
Now, some people don't know who Al Capone was, and so you need to use somebody that's been alive a little sooner than that, maybe.
Well, Al Capone is somebody who totally controlled Chicago. He controlled the chief police, the sheriff, the judges, the politicians, the mayors. He controlled all of them. And whatever he said is what they did, because they did need to have him killed.
He was a mobster.
He was a mobster. And today you look at that same scenario, that same amount of control, and then look at who wants to have that same amount of control. That would be Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, Al Gore. Look at the, Bill Ayers. Look at the list of people connected to Chicago.
Global type monsters.
Yeah.
Mobsters.
Tell me how they differ from Al Capone. Because that's their goal. That's what they want to do. Except they want to expand that power throughout the United States. And, we're talking about the destruction of the United States of America. And I think that we had better wake up and smell the coffee, folks.
You know what I thought about the other day?
Uh-oh.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's a whole nother thought anyway. But I was thinking that a lot of these kids, 30 and under, maybe don't know what, when we say the destruction of the United States of America, maybe they don't know what that is. Maybe
Well,
they don't know what that means, what it entails, the
well,
consequences.
I think that's a good point. I think maybe they don't know what that is.
Maybe they think that we're just old fogies and that we call progress, moving forward, and modernization as, you know,
Well, maybe they think North Korea, Cuba, etc., is a utopia. Maybe they think that's what they would like to see in America. Uh, there are many examples around the world of countries that don't have the kind of freedom that we have here in this country. Now, some of your African nations, some of your Islamic nations, uh, Iran, places like that, is that what we want to turn America into? Is that what we really want? And when are we parents going to teach our children how great America is and how you don't want to turn it into some of these other places? Maybe Tina's right. Maybe the young people don't know what I'm talking about. Maybe they don't know what other countries are like. I guess if they've never lived there, I guess they don't know. Uh,
a lack of exposure to anything different other than what they've heard in the last, 10 years, even
well,
20 years.
and you've got people like the president of Mexico and some people here in this country that don't believe in borders.
Well, anybody
They,
born after Reagan probably doesn't know.
they probably don't, and they don't understand that. Some of them are saying, well, it's a human right to come to America. In other words, everybody in the world should have the right
It's
to
a
come to
privilege.
America. Well, there's 7.5 billion with a B people in the world. If half of them want to come to America, you're going to have people standing shoulder to shoulder in America. Is that what we want?
You got a wrap up thought?
What? Yeah.
You're almost out of time.
Yeah, my wrap up thought is y'all stay tuned next Saturday and we'll do this again. But in the meantime,
Stay safe.
stand up for freedom.
Amen.